It is Thursday, May 29th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by Dream Finders Homes. And now, performing his own stunts in the new blockbuster Mission Impossible 8, The Follicle Reckoning, J.P. Shadrick.
What a movie that's going to be. Don't miss that one. Welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. It is Thursday. It's OTA week number 2. We've got a busy hour ahead recapping it all, presented by Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. OTAs continue. We'll figure out ways to grade the offseason work. I'm curious Jeff Lageman's grading system when he's watching OTAs. We'll get to that here in a little bit. And then weighing, air quotes, options on defense. That was a conversation earlier in the week. Guys look a little more trim than a season ago, especially on the defensive line. We're on 1010XL AM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Good afternoon, Jeff.
Good afternoon, JP.
What's up, man?
All good, man. All good. Excited. Exciting time of year. Mini camp just around the corner. OTAs in full swing.
2 more weeks
before we hit the dead zone here coming up.
Of the dead zone. Nothing wrong with the dead
but I think
zone.
an interesting thing that you bring up there about grading the offseason.
Yeah, right?
Because this is the time of year in which everybody's getting A's.
Oh, everybody looks great, great shape. They're having the best offseason they've ever had.
Connecting,
they're killing it in the
chemistry,
yeah,
getting stronger, bigger, faster.
Oh, yeah.
The commitment.
Grind mode. Never ends.
You know, it's the old saying is that sometimes you just got to wait and see until somebody gets hit in the mouth to really see what they are and what they're going to be.
That's true.
Right?
That's very true.
So I'm excited for this football team. I'm excited with some of the changes that they've made. But I think there's also a part of me that says I'm not giving a grade out.
Oh.
Until this
really?
Football team can give a grade itself, right? I mean, because the ultimate grade is what? Wins and losses. It's pass-fail in the NFL. That's all it is.
Well, you could grade training camp if you make the team or not.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that that also I'm really impressed with some of the things that they're doing now. And I don't know if this is going to help them win football games or not.
Okay.
What
do you got?
But they're having this contest, and I don't even know if I'm allowed to even talk about this.
Well, here we go.
But we're going to talk about it.
We're about to find out.
They're having this kind of cool contest where they have teams on the team, and they're competing in different events. It's kind of like a team building thing, right? And so
is this like weight room stuff? What is this?
Well, some of it's weight room stuff. Some of it is different. They come up with different competitions to have. So in other words, you have like these teams that are made up of different players. You know, so I think they had like a draft or were able to select players. Right. So you have 8 or 9 or 10-man teams, whatever it is. And each team competes in these different events that they have kind of on a weekly basis. And when I saw it, I was like, that really reminds me of the team building exercise that Pete Carroll came up with way back in the day when I was with the Jets. And it was fun stuff. And the stuff that we did was in training camp. But because of OTAs now have become so prevalent, now it's a great opportunity to do it throughout the OTAs. And then at the end of the road, there's going to be a prize. And I'm not going to say what the prize is going to be. I'll let them talk about that at some point.
Yep.
But it's cool watching these players pull together with their own team to have camaraderie with the competition and then to push each other kind of along the way, because competition is the greatest motivator that there is in the offseason. And you can tell that this team is creating a lot of bonds that wouldn't normally be there if you didn't have these kind of things. Today was a med ball competition.
Oh, wow.
Where they were doing like a relay race, throwing the med ball to their teammates.
I'm pretty good at that, by
down and back, and then the winner obviously wins. And then there was a med ball throwing contest over the goal post inside the Miller Electric Center. And, of course, the big guys were doing pretty well with that. And then there was a kind of a med ball throwing contest where you throw it, and then once it stops rolling, you pick it up and throw it again. Yeah. The first one down and back of the field wins. It's just cool stuff, and I'm excited to see that they're having these kind of things because it brings everybody closer.
And it breaks up the monotony of the off-season program. It's not just meetings for a number of hours and then on the field for an hour and a half and go home. It's like you need something to kind of keep motivated.
And I think
they're pro players. You should be motivated anyway. It's a voluntary period. Let's get some team chemistry going.
Well, you spend a lot of time building chemistry within the rooms.
Yeah.
Defensive line, right? Okay, we're all hanging out together, and doing our thing and working out together, lifting together, practicing together, meeting together. But, hey, look, I don't spend a whole lot of time with a running back or a wide receiver. And these teams that they have are diverse, across the position groups. And it's a great opportunity to I think, create a bond with other guys on the team that maybe you wouldn't ordinarily have. And from what I understand, it was an idea by the strength coach, the new strength coach that they have, and kudos to him because you can really tell that the players are embracing it. Got an opportunity to watch it today again.
You know who has a step ahead in working with different position groups? Travis Hunter. Wide receiver and defensive back, and Liam Cohen after practice earlier this week explaining that, yes, it's going, and it's going pretty well.
He's still learning. He's been learning a ton defensively and offensively, as we know. But that was more so fundamentals, techniques. It wasn't a ton of 11 on 11, 7 on. It was more fundamentals, techniques, communication. That was what that kind of last Wednesday was, and he's been learning with those guys and meet with them extra as he's needed to.
That's head coach Liam Cohen talking about the defensive work one day last week on the field, but he's been in both meeting rooms throughout each day and getting a full dose of Jaguar football on both sides.
Yeah, and if I had to put like a percentage on what amount of work that he would have with the offense versus what he would have as a defensive player to get ready to be a true two-way player, it definitely has to lean more towards offense because defense a lot of times there's a lot of technique, but the timing, the consistency, the working to develop that chemistry with your quarterback, it just takes a little bit more time on that side of the ball. Yeah. Whereas defense a lot of times is being an athlete.
Yeah. And just reacting in the zone concept, all of a sudden you're just breaking on a ball.
If I had to put a percentage on it, I would say 65-35, I think, is probably where that number would be at. Maybe a little bit less than 65, but not much.
And it makes sense to build it on offense, too. I mean, you got to score points in this league. You got a quarterback who's got a massive contract, another receiver on the other side who had a great rookie year, and you got to build up that offensive side. The defense will come along.
Well, and also he hasn't signed his contract yet. I think that's obviously on the horizon. I don't think there's a whole lot of difficulty to figuring that out because essentially you have a slotted system for the rookies. But I just kind of wonder. I mean, with a player that's going to play two ways, does that throw anything kind of into the mix? You know what I mean? Does that change the concept or the position of an agent? There's no wiggle room from a CBA standpoint.
Yeah, what does it come down to? Let's say fifth-year option, right? Is it wide receiver? Depends on how many snaps he's playing, right? If he's playing more snaps at corner, then he might get the corner number, not the receiver number.
Well, the agent's always going to argue that it's the higher number of the two.
Yeah, that
doesn't matter what the split is.
Yeah, sure. Right.
If he's doing his job anyway.
Yeah, and the same thing when it comes to a second contract. If we get that far. Is he getting a wide receiver contract, or is he going to get a cornerback contract? There's two distinctly different.
Or is he going to get a contract that essentially represents that he's playing two positions, and his contribution is from two positions? I mean, if that's the case, I mean, you're talking quarterback money or more. Right? I mean, if you've got a guy who is and obviously we're getting way.
Yeah, let's tap the brakes here. Can we play a game first?
Yeah, but I mean, it's just fun to talk about the possibilities. I mean, because at some point you could be looking at a player that agent would have a viable position to say that, look, you got a player that can play. He's playing two positions. He's playing them at a high level. So you can't look at him as a single person getting paid. You have to pay him as two. but that's down the road.
He wants you to be his agent, is what it sounds like to me, if you're talking that way.
Well,
I think you probably want to be his agent too, if that's the case.
Can you imagine? 3% of $60 million a year. I mean that's the quarterback rate now, right? $60 million.
About right. Yeah.
I think the
60.
agents' fees are anywhere. I think we put a cap on the agents' fees a few years back.
3 or 4.
I can't remember what the number was, but years ago when I was a vice president of the union, we instituted a cap because we actually had some guys that were getting charged ridiculous amounts,
Like 10.
Yeah, like there was no guidelines for the agents,
right.
Going back, and we finally put a cap. I was one of the ones that was fighting for it because I was like, look, we can't have guys that don't know any better. All of a sudden, they sign a contract agreement with an agent, and he's getting charged 7 or 8%. Because a lot of agents, even after the fact that we put that in, they were trying to say, well, I'm getting 5%. I think it was 5%. 5% is what I'm getting as an agent, but then I'm getting another 3% from a marketing standpoint.
I see. Okay, they combined the.
Yeah, after we put the rules in place, but we shut that down.
Yeah, that makes sense. We're on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. And then the other side of the offense, Brian Thomas Jr. Still looks good, man.
Yeah, but is he not become an afterthought?
I mean, a little, right? But not for long. I don't think when it gets real, he won't be.
Well, and he's not, obviously, I don't think in anybody's mind, but just the conversation with most teams of a rookie receiver having the year that he just had, he would be almost the focal point. And with new staff, new front office, new players, a little bit forgotten kind of in the mix, but not forgotten in my mind because I think he's an outstanding player. And I can't wait to see what year 2 brings. And I'm really excited that year 1 happened the way it did because I think if you didn't have all that happened last year with the injuries to the other wide receivers, to Gabe and
Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk, thank you.
Right.
If you didn't have those injuries to those guys, could you really, truly have discovered how versatile that Brian Thomas Jr. can be?
That's a good
and
point.
What all that he can do?
Great point.
Because I think the original thinking is that he was going to be kind of wide receiver 3, and by the end of the year he was like wide receiver number 1, star.
Easy, yeah.
And number 2,
yeah. Everybody
in a
else
lot of
was like
cases,
4,
he was
5,
1
6.
inch. Yeah, exactly.
The other one that has shown so far that he is in a good place is Dyami Brown, free agent edition. Liam Cohen talked about him the other day about his speed.
Fast. Have you looked at his college numbers?
No.
Pull his college numbers up.
That's a long time ago now.
It's a long time ago, but I mean, if you want kind of an indication of where the belief is in Dyami Brown,
5 years, it's not that.
Then a lot of times what personnel people do in the league is they have a college scouting report, and then they kind of have an updated professional scouting report. And when certain players get to free agency for the first time, they go back to their college scouting evaluation to kind of get an idea of what the opinion was on him coming out. And then they also look at it from what's happened in the recent past. Because, look, JP, a lot of times, for example, in Washington, prior to this year, who was playing quarterback for the Commanders?
I mean,
wasn't any consistency, right?
Rotation. Yeah.
Well, then you have a rookie. So a lot of times when you have a situation like that where the ball getting delivered on time and accurately is not happening, you again go back to that college resume to take a look. And what do the numbers say?
At his pro to A at UNC, 4.44 40.
Smoking fast.
Vertical jump of 35.5.
Okay.
So broad jump 10.8.
Give me some college numbers, receiving yards, yards per catch. The yards per catch you're going to look at and go, wow, okay. That gives me an idea of what this guy can be.
Oh, dear. 2018, was young, didn't play much, 173 yards, touchdown. Next year, 2019, 51 catches, 1,034 yards, 12 touchdowns, a 20.3 average.
20.3.
And the next season, 2020, the shortened COVID year of the ACC, 1,099 yards. Not in the ACC, they played full. But 1,099 yards and 8 touchdowns with a 20-yard average. So back-to-back 20-yard average seasons.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay?
Wow.
I think that's, and in his compare that to his pro numbers. What did he average a catch as a pro with the Commanders?
Research department?
Well, no,
here?
I'm just trying to make a point because I think,
right.
Again, you're going back to what can this guy do for this football team? What's he capable of? Because you don't want to just look at the numbers of what he did in Washington, but you want to go back and see what kind of numbers that he was doing in college versus what he was doing in Washington to what he could do maybe here.
I mean, he was underutilized in Washington. I mean, he only played
his yards per catch.
I mean, 13.3 for his career.
Yeah, that's
in
my
4
point.
years. And, I mean, he had one season where he had 12 catches, another with 5, another with 12, and then 30 last year, and only 300 yards.
Which my point is in this, and that I think Dyami Brown can be a dynamic addition to this wide receiver group from the standpoint of here's a guy that can go vertical. Brian Thomas Jr., we know, can go vertical. Right? Travis Hunter, we know, has got great speed, great hands, the ability to make contested catches. So you're going to have 3 legitimate guys that can run deep. Most of the time when you're facing, or if you looked at this team in the past, let's say the Doug Peterson era, who was the deep ball guy?
It was really
Did you really have
not
one?
Not truly.
You really never had one, right?
No.
So you went from now all of a sudden to having maybe one last year with Brian
Brian
Thomas.
would have been the only one.
Now you got 3.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a quarterback, I'm sitting there going, oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah. Love that. Throw a tight end in there. Strange.
Yeah.
Run the ball some.
Tough guy.
Let's go. Let's come back in a moment, and we will see how you evaluate practice logs, what you've been seeing the last week at organized team activities. How you've been tracking stats and doing that whole deal, right?
Underwear evaluation.
That's what you do, man.
I can do it. I can do it.
We're back in a moment. It's Jaguars Happy Hour.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
What's the best part about lawn care during the winter? You can give it a rest. Lawns only need watering up to once a week. Really, that's it. Using less water means you're saving time and money that you can put towards something else. Before you run your sprinklers, remember, give it a rest and only water up to once a week. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
Can you imagine rising for work before the crack of dawn? Tending to hundreds of acres of land before dusk? Well, that's what happens on 47,000 Florida farms every day. Florida's farmers work hard to grow nutritious food for you and your family. And you can help support them by enjoying delicious Fresh from Florida produce. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo where you shop or visit freshfromflorida.com to learn more.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Hi, my name is Charlie Jordan, and I'm the manager of social media for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So as manager of social media, we serve as a bridge between the fans and the franchise. And so my passion is rooted in being a fan, but I also get to work with the team each day. The Bright Future Scholarship was huge for me because I was able to pursue an education at the University of Florida. And because I didn't have to worry about paying for classes, I could spend my time covering the sports teams that I work around. I'm extremely grateful for the Bright Future Scholarship and the Florida Lottery specifically for allowing me to earn an education.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with Everbank. Open an Everbank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. Everbank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Just really excited about those guys. I mean, obviously their ability to rush, but they've done a really good job in the run game to this point too. Just really excited about those guys. I mean, obviously their ability to rush.
Anthony Campanile, the defensive coordinator. We'll try to get that again a little bit later. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. He was starting to discuss the pass rushers for the Jaguars. Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, Emmanuel Ogbah in the group now as well.
Who's that last guy you mentioned?
Ogbah? He was down in Miami with 40-something sacks in his career.
I got to say, just going back to last year, well, I mean, what a gross mismanagement of the defensive line room there was last year.
Yeah, I mean,
in a lot of ways.
At what point, and I get it, it's the offseason, we're talking through it still. At what point do we put that in the rearview? Training camp?
Oh, yeah. When they
move forward.
Well, I mean, I kind of have it in the rearview, but I mean, I bring it up just
still
for reference.
Mirror.
Well, I mean, it's all part of relevant. I mean, if you look at Jaguars.com, Eric Armstead's listed as a defensive tackle.
Yeah, well.
If you look at a lot of other guys that are defensive linemen, what is their designation?
Yeah.
There are some that
DL,
say DL, defensive
DT,
lineman.
Some DE. Yeah, you're right.
Right? Now, there are some that are specifically defensive end, and there are some that are specifically defensive tackle. But there are many that are defensive line.
I'll read them out to you. Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, Miles Cole are the defensive ends. 3 of them.
Okay.
Defensive tackles, Devon Hamilton, Eric Armstead, Tyler Lacey, Mason Smith, Jordan Jefferson. Defensive linemen, DL listings, Eli Mostert, Emmanuel Ogbah, listed as a D lineman, Danny Strigo, BJ Green II, rookie out of Colorado, Ethan Downs, a rookie out of Oklahoma, and Kiwi Rose, a rookie out of Arkansas, and James Carpenter, a rookie out of Indiana. Those are the D linemen.
Kind of interesting, right? I mean, last year there was that whole kind of debate. Where is Eric Armstead at? Where should he be at? Why is he not playing inside more? They're not getting any pressure inside.
And there were 2 different stories, right? It was like, oh, he wanted to – part of the deal was that he's going to play outside. That's what we heard early in the season. At the end of the season, I'm in the locker room.
He said no.
And I asked him the question, like, are you better inside or outside? He's like, I wanted to play inside. I'm going to go back inside. Oh, okay. I mean, so he said, she said.
And was playing 20, 25 snaps a game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and as a free agent, I mean, it was very – so to go back to my original statement, the mismanagement of that room, you had a lot of defensive tackles, and then essentially the third best defensive end you traded away to Seattle.
That's right, yeah.
Before the regular season even began. And you kept a lot of these defensive tackles, and a lot of them were basically of the same mold. And it didn't work out very well. And the management, I think, on game day wasn't even better from a coaching standpoint. So, yeah, very interesting year last year. That's one of the most interesting years from a defensive standpoint that I have ever seen in Jaguars history. Don't want to see it again.
Yeah, it was interesting, but it was awful. Awfully interesting.
Awful.
Brutal.
It was on pace to be like the worst defense in Jaguars history. And you could make the argument that it was. But the The talent was nowhere near that. I mean, I've seen bad defenses with bad personnel. That defense last year wasn't that bad of personnel to be that bad.
Now, let's get to maybe some of the reason behind that. And we talked about weighing, air quotes, the option on defense. Moving ahead. Well, it looks like Devin Lloyd's trimmed up some. It looks like Josh Hines-Allen has trimmed a little bit of weight. Trayvon Walker said he's only lost 3 pounds, but his body feels the composition might feel a little different. He hasn't done a test yet. They were playing pretty heavy last year.
Well, I think they were trying to be the number one get off the bus club in the National Football League. You know, when they all look big, and then all of a sudden, wait a minute. Well, how effective? Does bigger mean more effective? No, not necessarily. I remember just from a personal standpoint, I was never better when I was heavier or at my heaviest.
When were you at your heaviest, you think?
About 272,
here
273,
in
Jacksonville here.
Okay.
You know, but I think I played my best when I was around 65. 67 was a little too much, and a lot of people say, well, it's only 5 pounds. Well, 5 pounds can make a big difference. And Devin Lloyd last year was like 250. He doesn't look anywhere close to 250 right now.
No, he does not, actually.
He looks 230,
40?
3, 4, somewhere in that range, which will be good for him. I mean, he's got to move. You know, you got to move to play linebacker. This defense is going to be a defense that plays fast.
And, I mean, obviously a huge year for him. No fifth-year option, final year of his rookie deal.
Well, look, when you don't get the fifth-year option, that's telling you something, right? But I'm excited about Campanile because, you know what, if you go back and you look at every team that the Jaguars played last year, I remember raving about Green Bay's defense in particular, not so much Jordan Love, but their defense, because they just didn't make any mistakes. They were always in sync. They were communicating at the pre-snap to the play once it got snapped, and they always seemed to be in position to make plays, which was the entire exact opposite for the Jaguars defense.
Yeah, sure.
More mental errors than anybody in the National Football League last year, more explosives allowed in the National Football League than anybody last year, and largely due to the fact that they were having mental errors. So excited about Anthony Campanile's presence with this defense to get it all back to be in a disciplined state, I think would be a good way to put it.
Jaguars football is presented by Fresh from Florida. It's always in season. And, of course, the new season is right around the corner, and the time to get your 2025 season ticket membership logs, it's right now.
I'm
Tomorrow,
already in. I'm in.
Not yesterday.
I'm already in.
Right now. Be at the bank for every touchdown. Secure your seats at jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
Got some good home games too, man.
I know, right?
Kansas City, Monday night.
Chargers.
You kidding me? Rams over in London.
Yeah.
You know, they got packages for that now.
They do.
I saw on the website.
They were having some Ticketmaster issues today. They was overloaded. There were like
The
400,000 people in the queue.
The attack of the bots.
Right.
Of course, the division opponents, but the Jets, Aaron Glenn led Jets.
That'll be fun.
I think it's going to be fun.
Jeff Lageman Bowl.
No. No, that'd be Hugh Douglas Bowl. The Kyle Brady Bowl. Who else can I? Paul Fraze, a name from the past. Who else has been with the Jets and the Jaguars?
The linebacker from Winona High School in Birmingham has a brother on the defensive line. Quincy Williams.
Yes, Quincy.
See?
Williams. Good football player there for the Jets.
Yeah. What happened there?
Probably not enough patience for him there's a very defined role for Quincy that allows him to be at his best. And the Jets, I think, have done a really good job of putting him in that position. And then just the maturity, too. Got to give him a little credit for that.
Let's come back in a moment. We will see how you watch practice logs. Curious about this. What do you watch this time of year?
Everything.
All the time?
Everything.
Okay. Don't kill the tease. We're back in a moment.
I'll give you one little teaser. I'm gonna give you one opportunity when we come back.
Yeah.
I want you to guess what's the first thing that I look at when I walk out to practice this year.
Okay. Back in a moment. Plenty ahead. It is Jaguars Happy Hour.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dream Finders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dream Finders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dream Finders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamFindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Paid for by FDOT.
Sudeth is on the 20, the 10. Yes, another successful move to a new home. I tell you, folks, I've never seen a team more prepared than the Sudeth crew. With a dominating lead in training, trust, and efficiency, it's no wonder why Sudeth is the official moving company of the Jacksonville Jaguars. For the past 100 years, Sudeth has provided local, long-distance, and international moving services in Jags. While the Jags are moving the chains on game day, Sudeth is helping you on moving day. Visit Sudeth.com/Jags for a guaranteed quote.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with Everbank. Open an Everbank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. Everbank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When it rains, it better drain. If storm drains on your commercial property aren't doing their job, this is a major liability that needs to be corrected. Call Duck Duck Rooter to have your storm drains jetted and cleaned with our powerful vac con truck. We'll clear the way for better drainage. Call 904-862-6769. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jags. Duck Duck Rooter, your fully insured certified plumbing and underground utility contractor.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
I'm not gonna use it as an excuse, but I mean, it definitely played I felt like it played a little bit of toll on me close to the end of the season as we kind of got on, but it has its pros and its cons.
Trayvon Walker after practice a couple days ago discussing that extra weight from a season ago. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman, who left us with a question before the timeout.
I did.
What was it?
That question is, JP, this year, the new year, under Liam Cohn, James Gladstone, Tony Baselli, when I walk out to practice, what's the first thing that I look for?
I'm going to take I could guess a number of different ways here. Clearly, there's 91 guys out there right now, and coaches and things. I would guess a couple things.
Okay. No, you get one.
We get one?
Just give me one, and I'll say yay or nay, and then we'll go to the next one.
I'll go to the next one. I think you look for who the first player out there is.
Okay.
Is that right?
No.
I think you look for where the Gatorade cooler is.
That's a close second or third.
Wow.
Yeah.
Second or third.
Yeah, but not number one.
I think you...
Let me know when you're ready for a hint.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, think colors. Teal and white.
Teal and white.
Mm-hmm. What is
Travis
teal
Hunter?
There you go.
Well, are they wearing
What
teal
about 'em?
or are they
What about
wearing
'em?
black and white?
Huh?
They're not wearing teal, are they? Or are they?
They wear teal or white.
Teal
based
on offense,
what?
white on defense.
There you go.
Okay, they do wear teal. Yeah, I guess they do.
So it's the first thing
Where the
that I
hell
look
have I
for.
been?
I mean, it's kind of crazy, but
That was going to be my first guess, but it's too easy. That was too
Well,
easy.
I mean,
Boggs. Come on, man. Everybody's looking at that.
I mean, but it's amazing, right? I mean, when's the last time you ever went out to a practice
Yeah.
and you were looking to see what position a guy was going to line up at?
I mean, it's.
And I remember I walked out there today and I caught myself because, I mean, the first thing I look for is he wearing white? Is he wearing teal?
Yeah, right.
And I said to myself, I've never done that. I've never done that.
No, not
In
at all.
of my time in the National Football League, I've never walked out to a practice to see was a guy wearing an offensive colored jersey or a defensive colored jersey. It is pretty cool.
Question for you. When it comes to practice time in the regular season, he'll just wear one jersey and switch sides of the field during the week of practice, right?
No, he's got to change from
You think he would
white
change?
Or, yeah, you have to.
Have to?
You can't have a guy who's wearing a teal-colored jersey and the offense is in teal and he's playing defense.
I mean, sure, but like, is he just
Create a
gonna
little
go
confusion.
over there and
Trevor
change?
would like throwing him the ball
What if
all
they
the
have
time.
pads on? He's got to change?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, what they would my guess is they'll probably have one of those pullover things.
Like a tearaway kind of jersey.
Like Velcro
Yeah.
that's like a sleeveless pullover jersey that they can take on and off like they do with special teams when they put on like a red jersey or red caps on the helmet. You know, they could probably do something like that.
See that? Busy time at Daly's Place, by the way, Locks. The 2025 season is upon us, and coming up May 31st, Kodak Black replacing T-Pain 2 days from now. Sticks with Kevin Cronin, Don Felder, June 2nd. That's next week. Old Dominion, June 6th. That'll be a packed house. Plenty more ahead throughout the spring and summer. DailysPlace.com for tickets and show information. You got one tonight across the road, right?
Yeah, Tyler Chatters is at the ViStar Arena.
Yeah, sweet.
Tonight. Gonna check that out.
Give us your best rendition of his hit song.
I can't. No.
Come on, it's karaoke time with
Trust
Lageman.
me, you do not want me even attempting to sing. Now, my daughter, she would be a good person asked to do something like that, but me, no.
So you mentioned the first thing you see when you go out
First
to
thing I
practice.
look for.
They look for is Travis Hunter. What's he wearing? After that, give us a synopsis of a regular OTA practice when you're out there. Which side are you on? Are you moving around? Like what stands out to you the most when you're out there?
I move around. My eyes move around a lot. My body doesn't move around a ton.
I wonder why.
But, here's the thing about this time of year. You can't really get any kind of gauge on the big guys.
That's right.
So there's not a lot of evaluation other than, okay, maybe a new guy, you just want to see his body, see how he moves. Because, as a play-by-play guy, which you have been, color analyst, you want to see how body types move so that you can identify that person on the field without actually having to see the jersey number.
Correct.
What do they look like? How do they move? So you look at that from that standpoint, but the 7-on-7 guys is what you're watching this time of year, which the 7-on-7 for people that don't know, in a practice, you have different periods. 7-on-7 is essentially the 7 skill position on offense versus the 7 guys that can be dropping into coverage on defense. Linebackers, defensive backs versus tight ends, wide receivers, running back, quarterback. So you're watching those guys. You're looking for timing. You're looking for the effort, the finish, the hustle. You look at all of it. And you also, in practice, you're looking at, in the individual period, who's getting to the front of the line, who leads by example, who's walking off the field, how do coaches communicate to the players, what players are having eye contact, which players are talking ball on the sideline.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, so there's a lot of things that you look at, but it's, for the most part, it's that 7-on-7 group, which a lot of people would make the argument that the big guys, the old 9-on-7 period, is what you want to watch to determine how good of a football team it can be. But you can't watch. Yeah, you can't watch that until they get pads on.
Not doing that right now.
And that's a limited opportunity, even when they get pads on.
Mm-hmm. There you go. That's what you watch for.
But
do you go back and watch film too, or no?
This time of year, no. Now I'll watch film on some of the guys that they sign in free agency now.
Yeah, right.
You know, just to kind of get a gauge, and I've watched some of the undrafted rookies. You know, watch some of their film, like Danny Striga. I watched him to see what kind of a player he is, just to give you a little bit of a baseline. And then also when you go talk to a guy, when you talk to a guy, if you actually have watched him and you understand the components of his game a little bit, it makes for a little bit better conversation because they know that you're paying attention.
That's right. Yep.
And you don't want to start talking to a guy and you don't have a clue of where he's from, what he's done, what he's like. And even guys like in free agency, I mean, you read their bios. You read where they come from. Perfect example, Dyami Brown. I pulled those numbers up, right, because I was reading about him. I wanted to know where he came from, where he's been. So, I mean, stuff like that, I think it gives you a little better understanding of how to paint the picture of the guys that you're watching.
Here's a question for you. Could you cut the team right now if you wanted to?
Absolutely
Too
not.
early.
Nope, couldn't do it. There's a lot of guys, JP, this time of year look fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. And the first time that they put pads on, I'm going to give you a story.
Yeah.
I'll give you a story. Okay. So when I was with the Jets, we had – I'm going to keep the names out of it.
Well, come on. That's the whole point.
Well, I mean,
they're all out of the league, right?
All right.
I was 7 years old. I'm talking about
7 years. What do you mean 7 years?
I was 8 years old when we were with the Jets.
So I can't remember what year this was, but we drafted a guy from Southern Cal, Baselli's school. Okay, which you would think everybody's tough. Okay, so we drafted a guy, linebacker, and all through minicamp, and then we had some semblance of OTAs, but it wasn't anything structured like it is nowadays. He looked good, moved well, looked the part, body type, said linebacker. And the second-round pick story told you also probably a really good linebacker, right? Second-round pick.
Sure.
First day of pads rolls around. Training camp, okay, so he looked good in training camp, no pads. First day of pads roll around. He comes out of the locker room with hand pads, forearm pads, elbow pads, and I was like, this guy like the Jack Lambert of the 70s, right? And he had all these pads on because he didn't like contact. And I kind of was like, was he worried about getting hurt? And anyway, it wasn't very impressive the first day in pads.
Okay.
It was a guy that was not exactly one that enjoyed the contact, to say that.
So did they start going after him in practice because of that?
Oh, yeah.
Of course,
Can you
right?
imagine
You got to get better, man.
a rookie walking out of the locker? Because we're wearing no pads for the start of training camp, right? And he's got nothing on his arms or anything like that. And all of a sudden we put shoulder pads on. He comes out there like the kid's getting ready to be a hockey goalie, and he stuffed his whole jersey with paper towels and rags so he doesn't get hurt from the puck or something.
Wow.
We ragged him so bad.
I bet.
Like, dude,
that's what teammates are for, right?
What is all of the pads? Can you move? Can I get you a neck roll?
He's like the kid in the Christmas story with the jacket. You can't move.
Do you got a mouthpiece? How about some shin pads? Can I get you some shin pads? Hey, you don't have any hip pads in. Want me to go get you some hip pads?
Love that. Let's come back in just a moment. Our final thoughts.
I didn't give his name.
I think I have it. If you want me to start naming names.
You could probably figure that one out.
I've got it right here.
Yeah.
You want me to name it?
Nah.
No.
Nah, keep them nameless.
Okay, that's fine. Back in a moment. 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. It is Jaguars Happy Hour.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dream Finders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dream Finders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game. The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with Everbank. Open an Everbank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. Everbank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi, my name is Charlie Jordan, and I'm the manager of social media for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So as manager of social media, we serve as a bridge between the fans and the franchise, and so my passion is rooted in being a fan, but I also get to work with the team each day. The Bright Future Scholarship was huge for me because I was able to pursue an education at the University of Florida, and because I didn't have to worry about paying for classes, I could spend my time covering the sports teams that I work around. I'm extremely grateful for the Bright Future Scholarship and the Florida Lottery specifically for allowing me to earn an education.
Want to make sure he gets to the game on time?
Tommy, your uniform is ready. Let's go!
Install a natural gas dryer, and you're guaranteed faster drying times and softer laundry. And now you can earn a valuable cash rebate up to $200 on an energy-efficient natural gas dryer. Show your home love with natural gas, and it loves you right back. To learn more and how to qualify, visit peoplesgas.com/rebates.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And that's a Magellan first down.
Move the freight, move the freight, move the freight.
Would you like to control your own income? Work at Magellan Transport. Voted the coolest office space in Duval. Bring your talents and let your career flourish. Visit their website at MagellanLogistics.com and apply online. Trust service. Trust Magellan.
Let's go back to the start.
It's a big upside.
Like no parachute.
It's basically what their work is saying. So they're probably.
Hey, one of the trademarks of our leadership group is that when there's an opportunity to be bold, we won't flinch. You know, I don't know that there was much expectation as much as it was just curiosity. People will learn pretty quick once we start making legit decisions that we know what the f***'s up.
James came to Liam and I were sitting in the draft room, and he says, "You think about maybe making a phone call to Cleveland?"
Regardless of how things fall, we'll end up in a position to be better tomorrow than we were today.
Pretty much immediately, at least in my mind, it's like, why not?
Tonight, still good for the same timing.
Executing it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It wasn't at our mercy, but there was confidence that it would be able to get done.
We're going to draft a Hall of Famer with your first overall pick.
A lot of people said, well, boy, you gave up a lot. My response is, did we? We got the best player.
Time will tell.
To me, it was a small price to pay.
Let's make history.
Let's go.
Fear of the unknown, that can be an inhibitor.
Trip is giving the thumbs up on our end.
Never done.
Enjoy it the rest of the way. Appreciate it.
The moments that I didn't take action out of fear, I have looked back at and regretted.
Hey Travis, this is James Gladstone with the Jacksonville Jaguars. How you doing?
For the rest of my life, when there's the opportunity for me to face fear, I challenge it.
Because you're the one we've been hunting up. Yes, sir. That's the best decision.
I'm hopeful that that brings with it positive results, but only time will tell.
A teaser for The Hunt, Episode 2, entitled Time Will Tell. Debuts tonight. Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, 7 o'clock tonight logs. 40 minutes worth of inside the trade for Travis Hunter.
It is absolutely must-watch TV, in my opinion. I'm a huge fan of The Hunt. I've been tooting that horn for the last couple of years now. The job that the Jaguars production staff does with this program is amazing. The access has never been as great as it is now, which makes the storytelling even more compelling. I will watch it tomorrow. Trust me. I won't watch it tonight.
You're kind of busy today.
Got a little busy tonight, but in fact, on the way in here today, I took an Uber in today, not because I was drinking heavily today, but because we're meeting the family down here today, and we're all be in one vehicle.
Hey, no judgment.
I wasn't day drinking. And I was talking to the guy, John, that was my driver. Had a really nice car, by the way. And
trying to get free rides? What are you doing?
No. And I was telling him about this program, The Hunt.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, look, this is an incredible show. You need to watch it. And he asked me immediately, is it available on YouTube? And I said, that's where it's at. I said, check it out. So he said he's all fired up to watch it. He didn't even know that something like that existed. So I'm here to tell you folks, if you love the Jaguars and you love football, you love compelling stories, watch The Hunt.
I'm going to guess that the actual selection of Travis Hunter was less than 40 minutes into the draft, real time. This is 40 minutes worth of content around that moment. So it's
which is pretty cool
with info and behind the scenes.
Yeah,
access.
And how many episodes total
I don't know.
Is it going to be?
I don't know. There's so much stuff that, this whole crew over here has got stuff on the floor and deep in the archives, and they're going to dig it out as we go along here. In the
it's always ended kind of once the season began, right? Could it end up continuing into the season? That would be cool.
Interesting. Or, are you going to ask somebody? Or
I'm just saying.
Maybe you're asking now.
I would watch it, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Well,
as long as you're not, you gotta be smart, and our production department is smart. There are some that aren't.
I was gonna. Hey, I'll leave this to you. I'm out of this one.
I'm just kidding. Having a little fun there. Having a little fun there. But I'm excited about The Hunt. Folks, go to YouTube. Type in Jacksonville Jaguars,
That's
The Hunt.
The name of the team.
Subscribe. Check it out.
Check it out, man.
And don't watch 2 if you haven't seen 1.
Yeah.
Go back and watch 1 before you watch 2.
Good idea. They're kind of in order. So the numbers.
Ignore the ones in the past that have had previous regimes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's in the rear view. You're done with those.
Yeah, it's time to move. We're looking ahead.
Well, earlier you were looking in the rear view still, talking about the defense.
Well, you got to kind of know where you've been to understand where you're headed.
Well, that's deep thoughts.
And why we have all jumped on the direction that this team is traveling at, why we're all kind of on board.
That's deep thoughts. What's in that coffee anyway tonight? My goodness. Deep. It was deep.
No whiskey. They didn't have that option over there at the coffee station here at the Mech.
I would say so. No.
So
probably not.
Although, I probably wouldn't mind one of those Irish cream things in here. Wouldn't be a bad idea.
It may not be a great idea before a radio show. But
it might make it really interesting.
It would be interesting.
I had a guy.
That'd be the last one.
I had a guy. Not to name any names again.
Yeah, why don't you ever name names, man? Like, come on, say it with your chest.
I had a guy that I worked with in the past doing one of these very shows that would come in with a coffee cup kind of like this, and it didn't necessarily have coffee in it.
Hey.
And by the time the show got towards the end of the first hour, sometimes second hour, things got a little interesting. Yeah.
Okay, we'll stay away from that, I think.
I'm not a proponent or one that likes the magic coffee. I'm okay with regular coffee.
I'm not going to ask you about the magic coffee. That's a different. Hey, next week OTAs. There's another one tomorrow, I suppose, and then there's 4 on the schedule next week, the final week of OTAs, and then the week after that, 3-day mandatory minicamp, and then it's all over.
Yeah, the mini camp is really what I'm looking forward to. I expect that to be kind of pretty competitive. I mean, the OTAs that they're doing right now is it doesn't have that. Not all of them. Like today was kind of chill. But some of them are competitive. Some of them, they scale it back a little bit. And the mini camp, I would expect to be highly competitive, and I'm looking forward to that, which is, I believe, the 10th, 11th, 12th of June.
Correct.
Looking forward to that very much.
There'll be some surprise announcements coming up regarding one of those days. Soon.
Okay.
But we'll tease that.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
I like that idea.
Stay tuned. You don't even know what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, maybe Travis Hunter has a jersey that's half white and half teal.
What was the...
Because that's the first thing I'm looking for.
Right.
Maybe.
Maybe so.
But
don't they have Trevor Lawrence jerseys like that? Clemson Jaguars? I think I've seen people with those.
I've never seen
50-50 down the middle. 1-6.
I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year. I'm
Trevor?
dead serious about this, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
Because, here's the reality. If you look back and see what Liam Cohn did with Baker Mayfield, you look at, and I believe the Jaguars have a very smart offensive coordinator who's very young, who is going to be a hot coaching candidate at some point, and Grant Udinski. You combine Liam Cohn, Udinski, with Trevor, who is as hardworking and as mature as any quarterback that you could have. I think that that's going to be a really strong recipe for success this year. And I'm not saying they're going to win it all or anything of that nature. I just think it's going to be really good for this football team, and I think it's going to be really good for Trevor this year. And if you look at what's happening in front of him, and then also what's happening on the periphery of him, which is the talent, and then also behind him, all of those areas have been, I think, upgraded and made to have more competition than arguably ever before in his tenure here.
A lot of it, too, Liam Cohen talked about this, and Trevor has talked about it this offseason, is that the work on footwork that kind of goes with the progressions in this offense, and that'll just continue to be a work in progress for him, I think.
Well, and that's what this time of year is for. If you go back and you look at the very first OTA that they had, it wasn't a great day for Trevor. So part of, I think, acclimating to the new system is getting an understanding of what's expected and how to do it from a footwork standpoint. Because the reality is, how many times have you heard me, JP, watching film on a quarterback and saying he's got no chance because his feet ain't right? Well, I mean, with quarterbacks, if you watch their feet, you can literally a lot of times watch film, ignore where the ball is, watch the feet of the quarterback, okay, like put a piece of paper over the screen. So all you can see is to watch the feet of the quarterback. And then with, I would say, 75% accuracy, you can say whether or not that was a successful play or not based on just watching the feet of the quarterback. And that's true. And this is the time of year where you've got to break the old habits, establish the new, and essentially evolve into the offense with your whole body. And that, with a quarterback, obviously the feet are critical.
Run game will help too.
Well, and 2 new running backs
right.
in that backfield.
That's going to be fascinating to see how camp goes there.
I can't wait to see it. Look, competition's great, man. Look, in the past, that was, I think, a position group that had very little competition. I mean, you added Tank Bigsby, but before that, you're like, did they add anybody?
Not of consequence, no.
Like last year, if you looked at the running back room, did you have any idea or any kind of curiosity about who was going to make the team at the running back spot?
Nope.
Or how the roles would be defined?
Nope.
How does that look this year?
I mean, there's a whole new group.
You got Tootin,
Allen, and Jackson.
LaQuinn Allen.
Yeah. There's an undrafted
Etienne, Tank Bigsby. Who's going to get what?
Keelan Robinson.
Yeah, who's going to get what? Wow. I think that's the beauty of what's kind of changed with this team. Last year, offensive line. Did you ever have an idea or did you ever think for a minute last year going into training camp, you know what, I don't know who's going to start at left guard. I'm not sure. Or did you know? every position where it was going to be at.
It's tough.
You had an idea, right?
Yeah, that's right.
This year, I think there's competition, legitimate competition, at, I would say, 3 positions.
We talked about renaming the positions on the defensive line. All the offensive line are listed as OL now on the roster. Hey, wide open.
Wide open.
Logs, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Looking forward to
this
it.
program.
Yeah, I'll see you in 2 weeks during the minicamp.
Yes, Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to David Cho, Brent Reber, Joe Fortunato, and thanks to you for listening to Jaguars Happy Hour.